I'm Maggie. I'm an artist and a writer, and I had this idea for a project a few months ago, admittedly. And because I haven't had contact with anyone besides my parents for the past few months, I figured I could talk to you instead about it. So, a while ago, I saw Studio Ghibli's new 3D movie, Earwig and the Witch, which was fine. I definitely needed some new Studio Ghibli content to sort of cleanse my soul a little bit. Ghibli? I know it's Ghibli, but I say Ghibli because I'm a stupid American. Anyway, Earwig and the Witch. Super cute, super fun, but there wasn't really any narrative structure at all, and it ends kind of abruptly. The 3D animation is cool, but they seem to strive too hard to almost do an exact copy of their kind of 2D style, which worked sometimes, but other times it was just kind of weird to watch. And it would have been fun to see them sort of experiment with the 3D style more instead of try to just do a frame-for-frame copy of their 2D style, which is great, but it doesn't really work in a 3D style. One of the main parts of the movie revolves around a band and music, and the band was designed in this really cool way, really 60s, really fun and retro, like flower power. And the way that band was designed made me want to design my own band and see if I could do it, because I want to be a character designer someday. So basically, when I started this project, the only media that I was consuming was either Hades or Lore Olympus, the webcomic. And so I was inspired to do a sort of Greek mythology theme. I know, original. The Greek mythology theme won't come across as sort of where the figures are mythological figures themselves, the band members are mythological figures themselves, rather they'll be inspired by it and have cool sort of Greek aesthetics and kind of come across as a cool Greek-inspired punk band almost. Neoclassical punk. So I started with a little bit of research, which was basically scrolling through Pinterest, and then I went from there. Thinking of this, I was immediately drawn to the Hex Girls vibe from Scooby-Doo. I think everyone who likes women liked the Hex Girls when we first saw them in Scooby-Doo, and they've kind of remained repeating characters throughout the history of the series. I think the reason why I was so drawn to it was because it's a sort of combination of delicate and sharp, kind of like a pretty weapon. Also, when I was doing the research, I noticed that there was some parallels happening between the way that Greek statues are positioned and the way that rock bands kind of move on stage. There was a lot of similar positions, there was a lot of movement, a lot of dynamic poses, so I really liked that, so I kind of want to incorporate that somehow. And there were motifs that I kept seeing throughout my scrolls through Pinterest. I like the laurels, the flowing clothes, and the kind of art style that you see, whether it's Greek paintings or vases or statues. And I'm aiming to combine that with the grittier punk aesthetic, so let's see how that goes.
Alright, so for the sketching part of the video, I was more focused on sort of general poses, how clothes would look, how I would apply modern styles to sort of Greek aesthetics and that sort of thing. I messed around with instruments a little bit to see how I would draw those. I basically end up not drawing those because I didn't have any fun doing it. I much preferred character design. I sketched out some clothing folds because sometimes that's a bit of a weak point for me, and a lot of flowing clothes in Greek fashion and style. And I was just kind of messing around with my ideas here and coming up with how I would apply things.
Whatever you want, it's around. Whatever you need, it's around.
So the lead singer, or the image of the lead singer, excuse me, the image of the lead singer was immediately appeared in my head when I came up with this idea. I wanted someone with like short hair, kind of spunky, wild child attitude, cool makeup, cool fashion sense, and I wanted her to be sort of imposing, but also really friendly looking, kind of like a big cat. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I designed a guitar for her, but I never ended up fleshing it out because, like I said, I don't particularly enjoy visual development. I enjoy character design much more. But I designed her a guitar based off of Greek vases and that sort of thing. I messed around with hairstyles a little bit, but like my notes say, it's a little too fluffy, and I much prefer the shorter hairstyle. And I started kind of sketching out what award shows would look like, that sort of thing, and what she would look like on stage, and I ended up naming her Circe.
Oh, it's alright with me. You'll always be my E. Oh, you'll never smart girls.
For the bassist, I wanted her to be sort of the foil of Circe, the lead singer. Foil meaning a character that brings out the traits of another character by presenting them in sort of opposite form. So she is much shorter compared to Circe, the lead singer. She's a little softer and rounder. I wanted her to be cute and curvy and have really giggly, that sort of thing. She likes jewelry, but she's not covered in piercings because I wanted to make her seem a little more approachable. Not that people with piercings aren't approachable, because I think they're super cool. For her award show look, I did something a little more lacy and flowy, and I named her Daphne.
Oh, it's alright with me. I bet you'll be the prettiest girl in the city.
The keyboardist was a little harder for me to flesh out just because I didn't have a clear image of her in my head when I started, which is what these sketching and planning stages are for. But I did play a lot of piano when I was younger, and I have this sort of image in my head of pianists as being very sleek and put together, but she's also part of a punk band, so I wanted to make her seem pretty cool and edgy. So I gave her a cool semi-asymmetrical bob that's very sleek and put together, like I said, and gave her clean-cut jewelry, but then I put a really cool back tattoo on her, which you don't really get to see in the final design, but it's a snake with eucalyptus leaves. You'll see why in a second. And I wanted her to be a little more high fashion than everyone else in the band. And I drew her hand because she's a pianist and she has long fingers, and I ended up naming her Medusa.
It's alright with me. Whatever you need, it's alright with me.
So one thing you'll learn about me is that I'm a very big fan of the simple character design of Big Soft Boy, and that's what I made the drummer. However, I am not as skilled in drawing men, so I made his design much simpler, just so I could have a little more fun with it. Not necessarily fun, just to make it easier. His fashion is much more simple too compared to the rest of the band, so he doesn't do anything really super detailed. And I designed him after a cyclops and named him Polyphemus.
It's alright with me. Oh, darling, but it's alright with me. Oh, it's alright.
Hello, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk about my new favorite characters. So first up, Circe. Circe is named after the character from the Odyssey that Odysseus comes across on her little island. She turns men into pigs, and I'm a big fan of that. And I think Circe, my character, is a big fan of that as well, which is why she chose that name. Circe, as a lead singer, is out there. She's assertive. She's fun. She's friendly. She will be your friend for life. But she is also ready to get into a fight at a moment's notice. She is ready. She will throw hands for someone, or for no reason at all. She also plays guitar as well as lead singer, and just adds a little je ne sais quoi to the band. Up next is Daphne, named for the water nymph. Daphne is cute and bubbly. She's super fun. She loves being friends with people. She loves telling jokes. She likes cute clothes and cute jewelry. She is overall just the sweetheart of the band. She is a sick bassist, though. She played for a bunch of different punk bands before Circe and the Sirens, but now Daphne is with Circe and the Sirens forever, hopefully. Then we have Medusa, the keyboardist. She is a little more laid back than the rest of the band, but she's fairly high fashion compared to everyone else. She is the one that people look for on the red carpets and at award shows. She started out as a concert pianist, but then made her way into the punk rock world and joined Circe and the Sirens. And like Daphne, she's there forever. And finally, we have my sweet soft boy, Polyphemus, named after the Cyclops that they come across in the Odyssey. I decided to go with the Cyclops just because I wanted the character to be big and strong. But also, the name Polyphemus means abounding in songs and legends, and I thought that was perfect for a band, so I kept that name. Behind the scenes, the bandmates call him Moose because Polyphemus is just a really long name, and I want to stop saying it really badly. His favorite genre of music is classical music because he thinks it's the most fun to try and put a drum beat behind, and he's just an overall sweetheart and everyone loves him. Yeah. And he's ripped, which is just cherry on top of the sundae. Alright, so that's the end of the video. I never thought I would actually make it this far. I started this project in February, and it's now August, and that's just COVID for you, the lack of focus, and a bunch of stuff going on. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed this project a lot. If I could have done anything differently, I probably would have gone into more detail about their instruments and given them more detailed backstories, just so everyone could enjoy it a little more and fall in love with these characters as much as I did. You can follow me on my social medias. I will link them down below in the description box, and you can also support me on Patreon. I have a bunch of different tiers. I have really simple tiers, I have much more complicated tiers, but I would love to see you on there. There's some exclusive content that you can be a part of. And if you don't see anything you're interested in, let me know, and let me know stuff you would be interested in. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Thanks for coming to the end, and I really appreciate it. I don't know when my next video will be, but I will be keeping everyone updated on social media, so you can check me out there, and thanks again. Love ya. Bye. Bye.